Hello everyone, my name is Jasveer Singh. I am the head of Civil Engineering Department at Chandigarh Polytechnic College. In the last lecture, we have discussed that what is soil mechanics, what are the types of soil and how they are formed geologically. And we have also discussed what are the major soil deposits in India. And in this video lecture, I will discuss the physical properties of soil, which is the second chapter as per your syllabus. So let's not waste more time and go to the next slide. So in this slide, we can see that there are 4 blocks showing different images. In the first block, this one shows a natural state of a soil sample. In the soil sample, we can see that there are coarser and finer solid particles of soil, and also there is voids present in between those particles, and in these voids there can be presence of air or water. So in this next 3 diagrams we can see the 3 components of soils are shown. So in the first diagram, in a soil sample, we can see that there is a air and water present along with the solids. And this soil sample is known as partially saturated soil. And this diagram is known as phase diagram. Particularly, we can say this diagram is 3-phase diagram. And in the second case, when only water and solids are present, that soil sample will be known as fully saturated soil. And this phase diagram will be known as 2-phase diagram. And in the third and last scenario, when only air is present in the solid, the soil sample will be known as completely dry soil. So we can see that the diagram which represents the components of soil is called phase diagram. And these 3 are the phase diagram. First one is the 3-phase diagram, and these both are the 2-phase diagram. So our chapter name is physical property of the soil. So first physical property is the void ratio. The void ratio of a given soil sample is the ratio of volume of voids to the volume of soil solids in the given soil mass. So you can see from here that E is equal to, small e is equal to VV upon Vs. VV is volume of voids and Vs is the volume of soil solids. And what is E? That is void ratio. Well, the value of void ratio depends upon the volumetric changes of the soil. And void ratio for a dense soil, dense, sandy, gravel is a type of soil, is about 0.3. And if we take the void ratio of a loose sand, that is about 0.6. So from this picture, you can see that in this circle, there is you can say the void ratio is more, and this circle where there is less void, the void ratio is less. So next physical property is porosity. The porosity of given soil sample is the ratio of volume of voids to the total volume of given soil mass. So as this equation describes, N denotes the porosity, and VV is the volume of voids, and V is the total volume. So porosity of the soils can vary widely. Like for the loose soil, porosity can be 50%, while the porosity of compact soil is about 30%. And porosity value depends upon the grain size distribution of the soil. Like the higher porosity follows the smoother grain size distribution. When a soil sample consists of grains of various sizes, the smaller particles can be enclosed in the pores between the larger grains. So the porosity of granular soil mixed with the clays can be smaller than the theoretical value. So going to the next slide. So in this slide, we can see that the void ratio, that is E, is generally expressed as a fraction, while the porosity N is expressed as a percentage. So therefore, also porosity can be referred as the percentage voids. So figure shows the soil elements in terms of void ratio, which is E, and in terms of volume of solids. So the volume of solids by definition equation would be equal to 1. Like this total volume is the, we can write it as 1 plus E, because the volume can be taken to unity. So from the figure, we have the definition of porosity. N is equal to volume of voids divided by total volume, which can be written as void ratio divided by 1 plus E. That can be understood by this picture. So similarly, from the we get the definition of void ratio, that is equal to the volume of voids divided by volume of solids is equal to porosity divided by 1 minus porosity. We can number this both equation, and after above two equations, when we combine the equations, we get N is equal to, which is porosity, void ratio divided by 1 plus void ratio, which can be also written as void ratio divided by 1 minus N. N is the porosity of soil sample. So next physical property is the degree of saturation. So the degree of saturation is defined as the ratio of volume of water present in a given soil mass to the volume of voids in it. So in a given volume of voids of a sample, some space is occupied by water and the rest by air. So in the fully saturated sample, the voids get completely filled with water. And degree of saturation is noted by capital S, which is equal to volume of water divided by volume of voids. So from this picture or the graph, you may see that the x-axis represent the water content and the y-axis represent the degree of saturation. As the water content increases, the degree of saturation also increases. And there are different states for the degree of saturations, like it starts from dry, then it goes humid, then damp, then moist, wet, and then ultimately fully saturated. So degree of saturation is usually expressed as a percentage and is also known as a percentage saturation. Like for a fully saturated sample, this VW will equal to VV, then the as is equal to 1. That is for fully saturated sample. And for a perfectly dry sample, VW, that is volume of water, that will become 0 because sample is fully dry. So S will be also 0. So depending upon the degree of saturation, a soil is generally described as these all states, which are mentioned in this graph. And the next property of soil is water content. Well, the water content is also known as natural water moisture content, is the ratio of the weight of water to the weight of the solids in a given soil mass. Because it is expressed as a percentage, so we can multiply it by 100. So in this equation, we may see that small w represents the water content and WD is the weight of water and WM is the weight of solids. So we can determine the water content by a simple test. In that test, first of all, we have to take small quantity of the soil in which we have to determine this moisture content. So after taking the weight of that soil sample, we will write that sample in oven. So after, let's take the weight of the oven dried sample, that is let's say that is the W. So after, you will see that you will take the weight of dry sample, and by deducting the weight by equation, you can calculate the weight of moisture content, or you can calculate the moisture content. And there are different methods for calculating the water content. Like there are oven drying method is a most used method, and there are other methods like sand bath method, alcohol method, or infrared lamp torsion balance method, or there is also one more calcium carbide method. So these all methods can be used to determine the water content. So the next term is soil water. So the water present in the voids of soil mass is called soil water. That can be broadly classified into two types. First one is free water, and or it can be also known as gravitational water, and the second is held water. So water which is free to move through a soil mass under the influence of gravity, you can say, that is known as free water. And this water can be removed from the soil. You can easily remove it by heating the soil mass at a temperature like 105 degree to 110 degrees Celsius. And the held water is the part of water held in the soil pores by some forces existing within the pores, and that water is not free to move under the influence of gravity, like was in the case of free water. So the held water may be subdivided into three types. The first type is structured water. Structured water is the water which is chemically combined in the crystal structure of the soil. Like that cannot be can only be removed by breaking the structure of the soil. And the absorbed water is also known as hydroscopic water, or contact moisture is the that part of soil which the soil particles can freely absorb from the atmosphere. And last is the capillary water. The capillary water is that water which is held in the interstices of the soil. You can say the particles in the soil due to the capillary forces. So the knowledge of water content in the soil mass is very essential, because you have to control the compaction in the field. So you must know that what are the types of soil water are present in the soil. So this is the next physical property of the soil, that is specific gravity. So the definition of specific gravity is that of a given material, that is the ratio of weight of given volume of the material to the weight of an equal volume of distilled water. And specific gravity may be divided into, classified into, you can say, true specific gravity, and you can also classify, there's one more type, that is mass specific gravity. So if the voids present in the soil particles are excluded for determining the true volume of solids, the specific gravity obtained is known as true specific gravity. And if the soil mass which is considered that includes the void also, the specific gravity which will be obtained, that is known as mass specific gravity. So in this picture, we may see that the specific gravity for different type of soils is given. Like for sand, the value of specific gravity lies between 2.65 to 2.67. And in the case of silty sand, the value of specific gravity lies between 2.67 to 2.70. And in the case of organic clay, the specific gravity lies between 2.70 to 2.80. And for the soils with mica or iron, the specific gravity lies between 2.75 to 3.0. And for organic soil, the specific gravity is always more than 2. So how we can determine the specific gravity in laboratory? Well, there is a test. There is a apparatus. That apparatus is shown in this picture. This apparatus is used to determine the specific gravity, and it is known as pycnometer. Pycnometer. So pycnometer is used for the determination of specific gravity of soil particles. That can be used for both type of soil. whether they are fine grained soil or coarse grained soil. So the determination of specific gravity of soil will help in the calculation of other physical properties like void ratio. You can also determine the degree of saturation and also other different soil properties. So, so as this apparatus, you can see this apparatus. This is known as pycnometer. This is a glass jar of 1 liter capacity that is fitted at its top by this conical cap that's made of brass, and it has a screw type cover as shown in this figure. There is small hole at its apex. You can see there is a small hole which is of 6 mm diameter. So the leakage is prevented by having a washer between the cap and the jar. So while closing the jar, it is screwed till the mark so that the volume of the pycnometer will remain constant throughout the calculation. So what is the procedure to calculate the specific gravity? First of all, you have to clean and dry this apparatus, which is pycnometer. Then you will tightly screw its cap. You have to take its mass. Let's say the mass is M1. Then you will mark the cap and the pycnometer with a vertical line parallel to the axis of pycnometer to ensure that the cap is screwed to the same mark each time. So after that, you will unscrew the cap and place about 200 gram of oven dried soil in the pycnometer. Means you have to take 200 gram soil which is dried in the oven, and you will place that soil in this pycnometer. And you will screw the cap, and then you will again take the weight of this pycnometer. Let's say the mass is M2, and then you will unscrew the cap and add sufficient amount of de-aid water to the pycnometer so as to cover the soil. Again, you will screw the cap. Then you will shake well the contents. You have to shake this pycnometer so the contents are well mixed. Then connect the pycnometer to a vacuum pump so the entrapped air can be removed. So after disconnecting the vacuum pump, you will fill the pycnometer with water about 3/4 full, and you will reply the vacuum for about 5 minutes again so that the air bubbles will stop appearing on the surface of water. And then again you will fill the pycnometer completely up to the mark, and you will make it dry from the outside. You have to make sure that there is no droplets of water outside this pycnometer. Then you will again take the weight of this pycnometer, which contains the soil and water. Let's say that mass is M3. And then you will empty the pycnometer, clean it, and you will wipe it dry. And then you will again fill the pycnometer with water only. After screwing the cap up to mark, you will again wipe it from the outside and take the last mass, which is M4. So the M1 is the empty weight container. So we can see from this picture, we have taken 4 weights in this test. First one is the W1, which is the empty container. W1, we can write it as M1 also. So W2, which is M2, container plus dry soil. It means once we have the dry soil in container, we will take again that weight. So that is W2. In the third picture, we can see W3 contains container plus dry soil and water. We can write it as M3. And W4 in the last, in which we have taken the weight of water only with container. So specific gravity, which is G, can be calculated as M2 minus M1 over bracket starts M2 minus M1 bracket close minus bracket starts M3 minus M4. So this equation will give the value of specific gravity of that soil sample. So the next physical property of the soil is unit weight of soil. So the unit weight of soil is defined as the weight of the soil per unit the volume, and it may be classified into these 5 types. The first type is the bulk unit weight. The bulk unit weight of a moist soil or a soil can be defined as the total weight of the soil mass per unit its total volume. So let's say if the total weight of the soil is W and the total volume is V, the bulk unit weight will be W upon V. So next type is dry unit weight. The dry unit weight is the weight of solids per unit of its total volume of the soil mass. So in the case of dry unit weight, we are taking weight of dry soil only. Means there should be no water content present in soil. So WD is the weight of the dry soil and V is the total volume of soil, and ratio of this ratio is known as dry unit weight. And the next is the unit weight of solid. The unit weight of soil solid is the weight of soil solids per unit volume of solids. So we can write the ratio as weight of soil solids upon volume of solids. So Ws represents the weight of solids and Vs represents the volume of solids. And the second last type is saturated unit weight. So when the soil mass is saturated, its bulk unit weight is called the saturated unit weight. The saturated unit rate can be the ratio of the total weight of saturated soil sample to its total volume. So that means in the case of saturated unit weight, we have to take the weight of fully saturated soil. Let's say that is W saturated upon volume. Volume is the total volume of soil. And the last type of unit weight is submerged unit weight. Submerged unit weight is the submerged weight of the soil solids per unit of is the ratio of submerged weight of soil solid per divided by the total volume of soil mass. So when the soil mass is submerged, the weight of the soil solids is reduced due to the buoyancy. So submerged weight like that is, we can write the submerged weight is W submerged on the total volume. So this W submerged will be equal to the weight of soil solids in air minus the weight of water displaced by the solids. So thank you. I think we have discussed the main types or main physical properties of the soil. And if you have any query, you can always mail me on HODCECPC@cuml.in. Thank you.